So, we are with Mr. Kojo Yankah, President of the African University College of Communications, the African University College of Communications, in your lovely city center campus in Accra. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, I want to talk to you about a number of issues. And also, of course, Kojo is also President of the Institute for Public Relations and has been a government minister in various capacities. I must confess, I had you on my A-list to interview after hearing you on Joy FM after the IEA presidential debate. And you had some interesting things to say about the campaign. Now, let me ask you, what is the importance of public relations as compared to advertising, let's say, in political communication in a place like Ghana?
Yeah, advertising is, in my opinion, has been made to look very easy in terms of people just going to advertising companies. We need so many billboards, we need this kind of message and all that, which, in my opinion, also has a bearing on the image of the party or the company that sponsored it. But if you take it in totality of public relations, and you want to just look at where public relations sits with the political party or the elections, and therefore the role that advertising should play in it, then you realize that people who are handling advertising should also do a lot more by fitting whatever objectives they have for their messages into the total strategic electioneering plan, so that people will understand it along with it. Now, here we had elections preceded by primaries, which were more or less conducted with cash, with money. I mean, I don't think that Ghana has seen such an explosion of advertising material.
Is that in itself a bad thing?
It's not, except that at the end of the day, if you know what advertising costs, you realize that a lot of money went down the drain. Went down the drain in the sense that I wonder if the more money one spent, indicated where they ended up.
It might not have been effective.
Clearly, it means that you cannot just have advertising alone. You must do other things apart from.
But let's stay on the campaign spend. If we take the two major parties, the NDC and the MPP combined, if I have to push you to the wall and say, give me a back of an envelope figure about how much should have been spent, both the MPP and NDC.
Well, for the first round elections, definitely NPP outspent NDC by about 3-1.
Now, if you combine the total spend, about how much would you say?
You probably...
I've seen a figure in one of the NDC reports saying the MPP spent about $48 million.
Well, that probably will be on the higher side, but anything around 25 million.
For the two parties?
For one side.
Okay.
It's possible. Because you're dealing with very sophisticated high definition material used across the country in all the constituencies for the president.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing that I think I call this the large digital format election.
Indeed.
Because I know in 2004 it had just started coming in. I myself was doing some studies in the central region. And I remember many of the candidates started with hand-painted pictures of themselves. Right? During the campaign, they replaced the hand-painted pictures with large digital format prints.
Precisely.
This year started right off from.
Right off.
How effective are these big billboards? You've been a politician yourself. They must be expensive.
They are expensive. It's an expensive exercise, and you need a lot of money first to put it in a place where they should be. The second aspect is whether billboards can change opinions.
How do billboards compare to T-shirts, for instance?
Well, T-shirts, people can wear it. A lot of people in the villages want something to wear anyway. So when you give them a T-shirt, it's both for them clothing to wear and also something to show that they responded to your appeal. But
the last time you campaigned was 1996. Am I right?
Yes, that is right.
How would you compare, let's say if you take your own constituency, how would you compare the expensiveness of the campaign then as compared to now?
I think definitely now it's more expensive. As I'm saying, it's more digitalized because we have candidates whose billboards were just like those in Accra, which didn't happen those days. We only had to do with printed web offsets, printed posters in all the various constituency electoral areas, and then you had a few T-shirts, and the T-shirts were limited in numbers, so you distributed them amongst the very active foot soldiers and so on. Now people can afford more T-shirts, but my question is whether it is T-shirt or billboard, do they turn into votes?
As somebody said, if you spend $10 on advertising, 9 might go to it, but you don't know which one will be effective.
There you go. There you go.
Another dimension of the new campaign is what I call new media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to see social web interfaces, mobile phones, and so on. How did you see these things in the election?
Well, they worked to only a certain extent. If you consider that we are talking about only 3% of the population who have access to these new devices, they are reaching very few people, but maybe influential to some sort.
SMS test?
You get SMS text,
SMS.
and then they ask you to send it to 10 more people. Now, it depends on how you find the message. I had dozens of them. Some were repeats from the same campaign office, asking you to send them to 10 more. But it all depended entirely on your inclination at that time, whether you were inclined to send that kind of message out and so on. So I will say that it was a modern show off.
It was a show off.
I believe it was a show off. It didn't really do much in terms of determining who won the elections, because you got it from both sides, and you wonder which one would make an impact. But the important thing is that they just told people we are around, and that this is what we want you to do if you have the opportunity to make up your mind and you have not already made up your mind.
So now we are facing the runoff. If the NDC, I don't know whether I should say your former party or the party you were with, came to you and said, could you advise us what should be from a public relations perspective, what would you say?
I will say that go to the foot soldiers, go to the villages, go there and talk to the people who are most affected by the issues of the day. And if you look at the trend,
you think that was not sufficiently done with the house-to-house campaign?
No, but how many houses can you go to? You need to do a lot more. I mean, if you go to my village, I don't know how many houses there are, but it's difficult to say you've gone to every house. In every constituency, you will enter a few houses, then out. But I'm saying, get the message out there. Just get the message out there. Just re-emphasize what you said before, and go ahead and tell them what you can do if you come back. If you win the election. At the moment, it's really on issues. People really are looking
focusing on the issues,
and not on personalities.
Okay, Mr. Yankah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you for now.